I've been using the Midnight Black iPhone 14 Pro Max leather official case for the past 4 months now, so I thought it'd be good to give you an insight on how it's held up over the past 4 months and if I would still recommend this as a good purchase after using it for that amount of time. So I purchased a case back in September. I've been using it on my iPhone 14 Pro Max daily. I bought the case on Amazon, so I'll leave a link in the description down below. If you're interested in purchasing it, just pop down there and buy it from that link. So just some info before we get started. So I carry the phone in the front pocket of my jeans. I take it in and out numerous times a day. I throw the phone around. I do not treat the phone lightly, so it would be good to give you the insight of how it's held up, considering I just use it as I would any other phone or case. Okay, so let's take a look at the case and see how it looks. Okay, so let's take a look at the inside of the case to begin with. It seems to be in pretty much perfect condition, with just some dust around the top, just the top right hand corner just here. There's no sort of blemishes or tears, so as far as the case goes on the inside, we're off to quite a good start. Let's move on to the back of the case. There are some small scratches across the case, nothing severe but just small scratches everywhere, but not anywhere near what I was expecting for 4 months of usage. Let's just take into consideration, I would have assumed the leather case would have had some significant scratches, but it doesn't appear to be the case. Okay, looking at the camera bump, there does appear to be 2 small chips in it, so one just there and one just there, but it's done a good job at protecting the camera overall for the last 4 months. One annoying thing about the case though is when you place it on the table, because of the size of the bump that was protecting the camera to the size of the camera module, the phone actually wobbles, so it's quite an irritating thing. So just something to bear in mind if you are considering purchasing this case. Now you can probably see as we move around to the edges of the case, the sides have begun to wear, or patina as I think people call it. The colour has begun to change from its original midnight colour, which you can see on the back of the case, to more of a dull black colour. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but in person I can see the colour has faded across all the edge, all the way around of the case. It's happened on both sides, and I think it's a natural wearing effect that happens on leather, so it's quite a known fact if you do buy a leather case that the colour does wear or patina over time. So considering I've had it 4 months, it's only subtle, but you can see it started to do it just around the edge, all the way around the case. Alongside this, you can see I do have some pretty significant dents on the bottom and on the top of the case, in the corners where I've dropped the phone on a couple of occasions. As much as I love the Apple leather cases, I've had them for the last few years, they do tend to suffer with pretty significant damage when you drop them, so they get quite bad dents or scratches or scuffs, starting to make the case lose its aesthetic appeal when it's got big chunks missing out of it basically. But what I would say is, despite the dents, the phone remains protected with not a single scratch or mark on it, considering it's been dropped several times in this case because it's my main case. Okay, so moving on to the buttons, there's only slight wear around the buttons as you can see, but they all pretty much look the same as the day I got them. There's just a tiny few scratches around the top. They are metal buttons, so they're very clicky and tactile, which is one of the reasons that I love this case and I keep coming back to the Apple leather cases, is because of those metal buttons, and I find they're the best buttons at any case available. So moving on to grip, I find the Apple leather case to be nice and grippy, which is one of the other main reasons I keep sticking to the Apple leather cases. For me, they tend to get better grip as they get more worn, and that's my experience with the last 3 iPhones I've had. Using the Pro Max variants of the phone's grip is definitely something you want to take into consideration, and I find the Apple leather cases tend to give good grip over time as they wear, so I think it gets better and better the more you use it. As for MagSafe, I don't have any MagSafe products to test. Plenty of MagSafe tests out there on YouTube to show the strengths of the magnets, and it shows that they do have pretty significant magnets in here. MagSafe is one of your priorities, I don't think you've got anything to worry about. Moving on to the price, so this isn't a cheap case guys, so if you want to get this case straight from Apple, you'll be looking at £59 in the UK and $59 in the US, so it's not a cheap case by any means. Okay, so let's round all this up. So bringing all those into a conclusion, would I recommend you buy the official Apple leather case for your iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max? It's a bit of a funny answer. I'm going to say yes and no. So if you're the sort of person who prefers a good looking, aesthetically pleasing case over a practical one, then yes, definitely buy this case. It looks fantastic. It has nice grip all across the phone. The buttons are metal, are nice and tactile, and overall it just complements the 14 Pro or Pro Max very nicely. However, if you're the sort of person who throws your phone around a lot and you prefer protection over how a phone looks, also if the little nicks, dents and scratches that you get on a leather case from being thrown around bothers you, then no, do not buy this case. However, I've got a feeling if you're watching this video, you're probably the sort of person who's interested in purchasing a leather case and you just want the go ahead to do it. And for me, yes, go ahead and purchase it. It is my go-to case with every iPhone I've had for the last 3 years. I find the case charming. I find it very complimentary, and the case is so comfortable to use that it just keeps me coming back to it year after year. If you're interested in purchasing one of these, then as I said, I will leave a link in the description down below. Whilst you're there, leave a comment, let me know what sort of case you're currently using, and also leave an Apple emoji so I know you've made it to the end of the video, and I'll drop you a reply. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'm Luke from Luke's Tech, and thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.